Hey guys, Bryan Buhr with Berkshire Hathaway, and welcome to this edition of What Am I Signing? This is 1 year's worth of real estate transactions, a lot of paper. And with more and more forms being signed electronically, people need the opportunity to really learn about what they're signing. So hopefully these videos help. Let's get into today's form. Today, I want to break down the first couple pages of an exclusive buyer's representation contract. And so the big thing is, if you've seen our last videos, until you have a buyer's contract signed with an agent, a lot of those fiduciary duties, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, reasonable care, accounting, don't apply to you until this contract is signed. And really, you do want to have a good relationship with a buyer's agent so they have your best interests in mind. There are some really situations, especially if you're looking at a property with a listing agent and you don't have someone representing you, that can really be to your disadvantage. So, the first couple lines here just kind of spells out is where you put in the brokerage name, the buyer's name, just for housekeeping. And then it kind of goes through broker's obligations and buyer's obligations. So broker's obligation is basically for the broker to do the best effort to, find a property that fits you, it's in your price range, something that's affordable. Buyer's obligation is basically to work exclusively with that one broker, not go look at 100 properties with 100 different agents. And it's really good. It's just a really good marriage. Once you make that commitment, an agent has that commitment to you as well. They can focus on you a lot harder. Lines 24 through 38 are where the commission breaks down. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I thought working with a buyer's agent is free. And in a way it is, but realistically it's not. So what you're doing is you're saying to a buyer's agent, hey, I am going to pay you to find me a property, X number of dollars, X number of percent. That's something that is worked out before you start looking at houses between the agent and the broker. Now, why people think working with a buyer's agent is free is because there's a box here on line 41 that says any compensation the broker receives from the seller, and then you can choose shall or shall not reduce the buyer's obligation. So say myself and a buyer have a contract signed where buyer is willing to pay me X percent to help them find or locate a property, but the seller is willing to cover that, well then that wipes it out, and it does make it where the buyer doesn't have any out-of-pocket costs. Now granted, in theory you could say that cost is being built into the sale price of the house. Page 2 just breaks this down a little farther and kind of really spells out for the buyer things to avoid to make sure that you are in a situation where you only have one agent representing you. So there's certain things, especially open houses. If you're already signed up with another agent, it's a good idea to maybe have a bunch of that agent's cards with you and let the listing agent or whoever's hosting the open house know that you're already represented as you walk into the property. There's some other little housekeeping things that just kind of marks what type of property you're looking for. So say you're going to look for a personal house, but you're also looking for an investment property in a different part of the state. Well, you can check these boxes here to make sure that even though you're working with one agent in your home area, that contract's not binding you to pay that agent a commission if you're looking, at a different type of property in a different area of the state. Lines 65 and 66 kind of talk about how we arrange closing. So the buyer can choose to close wherever they want. That being said, a lot of agents really know what title companies do a good job, which ones have lower fees, and it's basically allows you to entrust your agent to choose what type of closing company fits you best. A lot of times, me personally with buyers will have a real quick discussion. In Lakes area, there's some closing companies that I would strongly recommend over others. So it can be a big deal what closing company you do end up with. So a few other things at the end of page 2 of this form. Additional costs just lets you know as a buyer that there are additional costs with purchasing a house. What I recommend when you meet with a lender to get what's called an itemized fee worksheet. Granted, there's a lot more to a lender than just the rate that they can provide you. The level of service is very important as well. But to know exactly what you're going to be, what we'd say cash to close, what type of money you're going to need to show up with closing with, it's really nice to have that itemized fee worksheet ahead of time just so you know what you're getting yourself into. Lines 70 through 77 kind of deal with foreign investors. We don't have too much of that in our area, but basically what it says is if the seller is a foreign investor, there's going to be some tax withheld from that sale. There is a form that a buyer would need to sign to make sure that those liens don't get transferred to them. Like I said, probably something that you'll never run into, but good thing to know. And then at the bottom of the page, it also is a recommendation to have a home inspection. As buyer's agents, we're always going to recommend that you have a home inspection done. That being said, there are some really unique situations. It is up to the buyer whether they do want to forgo that inspection or not. So like I said, this is a nice long form. It's actually 5 pages. Today we're just going through page 1 and 2, but hopefully you guys check out our next video and we'll wrap up the exclusive buyer contract. Thanks.